That's always gonna get you in. What? What? I'm rockets. Who says we ain't in the building? Who says we ain't into building? We the Moorish master masons, architects for your children, reppin' Friday 13th like Jason without the killing. But we promote life, oh it's all about the feeling. And we invoke light, yo, we them light beings. Though you might see him on the block getting his portion, might be talking to cops, giving them caution. Occasionally wearing his fez when he's walking. See the turning heads, whispering, gawking. But he's locked in, and he's zoned out while we boxed in our own house.
We study the mystics, the adepts, the magi. Wisdom of the ancients can uncalcify eyes. Possible mission, free mental numbness. Extract the substance, rid minds of dumbness. Use the source, don't care what some purport. As we don't by being told man knows not. Many before the floor, souls got bought. Placed in the devil's hands, ruling the seven lands. To dogma rituals, negro spirituals. Brainwash subliminal, keeps thinking to a minimal. They still criminal, in a world digital so pitiful. Mental survival so critical, it's visible. Can you see past writers' blocks? Hashtag zombies with waves of cyber thoughts. No need for cell phones, they speak through saw palms. It's nothing for alarm, chips and forearms.
Wind, brass and bass, such a beautiful serenade. Women feeding me grapes, I'm feeding the new serenades. Whether the sky is clear or gray, rain when you hear a fake, giving life to seeds. Speaking through who not here today. Show you the future in a glimpse. And always look to these hoes like hallucinatory pimps. Sun walked the desert, been more ever since I found God. Look back, used to see his prince. Forget being a prince, I'm a G. OD, grown man, no Jody. Deny it, you don't know me. Don't make me tap into the old me. That's like a couple hundred years. Walk around town with a couple hundred peers and release the peace of up fears. The sun gon' shine, so what tears? This young brother here just trying to get his third eye clear.
This deep, Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind and body and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks. Conscious thinking and living and then attack. This deep, Moors don't sleep. Invest in your mind and body and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks. Conscious thinking and living and then attack.
So as the moon sets, the sun takes its place at schoons on blocks, inspired spots, filled spaces. Peel back, rats, who got cases. Fire stain the corridors of flemmo faces. Game changers, rule benders and no pretenders. Style lenders, channel my vibe through the vibrant optic lenses. Send a message to our veterans, soldiers up and get it in. We on our verge, we emerge subliminal beings. Third eye seeing, still a participant unwilling.
They wanna break me, shape, bait, grade me. Rolling with my main G, double O-M-B. S-O-N is crazy for a minute that you think you could take me for a fool. Like a native to his land, being schooled by a foreign dude. You've mistaken me, spiders on the roof. In the dark tools, I've been saying you've mistaken me. You better move or I'll mark it. Power pin is my tongue, your existence to target. Revealing all lies and deceit on the market. Genocide carried out in pockets, I knock it down, bulldozer. David to Goliath, it's an exposure. Some big cats ruling and it's getting closer to your downfall. Round up all your soldiers.
Little homie, I was seeking a fortune, tired of misfortune. I just wanted a portion, everything that I never had, though I needed my portion. Blowing like porcelain, haters fragile as porcelain. Getting broke, tired of being broke. How we acquire hope is the DJ skill and some dope, just to keep us afloat. Mind as deep as the boat, brain is a lethal weapon. We one need to elope. When I speak, I provoke. Walk in the room with my aura feeling like heavy smoke. Feel like when the levee broke under my Louis fitted the semi-poke. Cause dirty cops will kill your boy, you ain't a joke. The cost of living, higher profits in private prison. These little girls are selling bodies just to pay tuition. These little niggas selling niggas just for bail condition. It's like the slavery never ended, where's the intermission? I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and make one plan. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and one plan.
Let the bass.
Come on. Rap kill me, I puff the black lily. What up with the dilly? We bust like Mac Billy. Let it off, come on. 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 Yeah, quality, FP, told you, feel me. Prince on the flow, so you know it's filthy. Let it off, come on. 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 City stand up.
Yeah, come kick it without beat. Just guns in the holster when I'm building with quality. What? It's the miseducated Negro dig roll. So I'm thinking of the beans whenever the pigs roll. Ask why I could've talked to a law through the bars. If they negative is my sedative, being hard, nah. I'm just dealing with 180 and 180. Book crazy and gun crazy, the sun rays me. But it's the moon passing by that'll make you into man you are. I drop signs, don't stand too far. Do the math, I'm socially, vocally, an English star. Do the math again, shame is I'm African. This ain't my language, only thing I'm knowing is anguish. Feel me.
From Yonkers to Brooklyn, party people where you at? Put the light up in the sky right now, let's go. These rap dudes remind me of Geico. So easy that a caveman can do it, it's like screwing a light bulb. My music is influenced by X-Clan, let the best man win. Cause I'm fighting for New York like Def Jam. A righty still nice with the left hand. My fist of fury, their eyes popping out like Mr. Furley. Take a journey in a lyrical Rolls Royce. I'm raw like old boy, in between war and peace like Tolstoy. Abort these lanes with pro-choice. Dope voice, know it ain't a game, I'm no choice. I'm not playing, bubble on the bottom like Air Max. It's Brooklyn if they looking, give them something to stare at. Yeah, that dude hit the dirt, I'm murked out. I'm the tightest with the monkey bars like a rough rider's workout. My flash ball niggas is burnt out. These chicks is turned out, my hits is turned out. Feel me? When it comes to this shit right here, we the kings of this shit right here. Y'all peace.
Talib SP told you feel me. Secret society, you probably kill me. Fuck the government, nigga, I plead guilty. Fuck the industry, cause y'all too filthy. Corporate devils with house niggas working with them. Claiming hip hop, but they ain't got a purpose with them. Hell no, I seen a whack rapper surface with them. But I'ma load up and go ahead and murk them with them.
Niggas had a chance to talk, now it's your turn to listen. Get with style, split open the Dutch like a circumcision. Yeah, they know me for the classic flow. I'm in the book's depository with the ghost behind the grassy knoll. We looking for a headshot, we the sharpshooters. Niggas used to run, now they singing like Carl Lewis, fucking up the anthem. Try to kidnap my flow for a handsome sum. You be the one paying the ransom. Feel me? Ha 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 ha. Black just the label, bringing it back. Pay attention. You raps kill me, I pop the black lily. Yeah, what up with the daily? We bust like Mac Millie. Let it do it, come on. 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 Yeah, quality, SP, told you, feel me. Yeah, Prince from the flow, so you know it's filthy. Let it do it, come on. Let it do it, come on. Let it do it, come on. Let it do it, come on.
Peace, Moors. Peace and love to everybody tuned in to Sons of Allah for February 15th, 2018. I am your host, Ms. Raheem. I left L along with Grand Sheik Cujo Adwo L. Peace, Noble. You there? Oh, hold on. My fault. I apologize. That was my Islam, Noble. All right.
It's all good, boy.
Pardon.
You know.
Yes, indeed. I know the intro was a little.
Yeah, I just want to say a shout out to the brown guys. Shout out to the brown guys to live in Styles P. You know, not the black guys, the brown guys.
The brown guys. And the fact that they chose to name their album The Seven out of anything they could have titled it. So we know what's up with that.
We already know what's up.
We already. Indeed. Man, let it off. I mean, I felt that because it's like all these metaphysical shots being fired and all of these things, man.
Yeah.
Because we know what time it is. We could see the squantos from the, sincere people. It's like no matter what slander they try to throw at us, the universe just keeps throwing or unveiling the truth regardless. Man, I don't know. It's been so much slander going on. You know, we got lessons to get into, but it's so much slander going on. I don't even know how to keep up with it all no more, bro. Or at least this week I've been thrown off. But one of the things I was hearing, you know, and it just seems so thirsty, you know, so petty, you know, that they're really trying to paint Moors a certain way. With the shooting that happened with the policy enforcers, I think it was in Georgia, and a couple days later they tried to come out and say, well, oh yeah, he was a part of Moors and allegedly a sovereign citizen. The whole profile to try to make Moors look bad, you know. And it's like every time they do it, like even like with the whole black identity extremist thing, right? They try to paint Moors a certain way, and then you got these Moors who are on the fence, who's like, oh no, not me, you know how that goes. And they just show that the problem is really within them, because like I said, man, you know, people have the right to self-defense. People, you know, pass for them, dying for the law, you know, to let the law live or whatnot. And, you know, there's been many lives lost over the law. We could talk about any battle, war, whatever. You know, it comes down to law, you know, treaties and things like that. So, you know, the fact that, okay, so it was a Moor who was in a situation, 3 policy enforcers got murdered. And, you know, I don't know all the details of that situation. They're alleging he's a Moor or whatever. But my thing is, when they try to paint, you know, a whole nation of people as a terrorist group, or you know, something not real, you know what I mean? It always backfires on them. Whereas to this day, I have yet to see any Moor, conscious or unconscious, raise children to go to school and shoot up and do mass shootings. I don't know about that. You know, like I said before, self-defense is one thing, but the way they raising these monsters up, they going to school with AR-15s. Understand that's not your ordinary firearm, right? So first off, how did a high schooler get their hands on an AR-15? And second of all, if you're going to try to take a pigeonhole, isolated incident of a Moor standing on the law or whatever, and try to attribute it to a group of people, I mean, you can't really get that. But I would say the bigger problem is these Europeans who have been doing this for years, bro. Like, what are they into? Where they just like, yo, I'm going to school and letting it ring out. And you know what I mean? Like, this is a repetitive thing with them. This is not new. They always have these quote-unquote mass shootings, school shootings, and things like that. So I just wanted to point that out, that was real petty. You know what I'm saying? When you got these Europeans coming up young, you know, making national headlines, national news, you know, for shooting up schools. And the pilgrims in the community is saying that the police failed them. You know what I mean? They're not saying it was the people. And then with the fact that it was this European boy who did this, or he could be quote unquote Spanish, which is still European, right? Because they said his last name was Cruz, but you know that still is European, Spanish. But nonetheless, they're doing this at a consistent rate. So to try to like, and even though they're doing this, like, you can't blame everybody for his actions. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Europeans got hit up, Moors got traumatized from being, you know, a part of the environment. All of that trauma, it didn't discriminate. But the energy, this is what I'm saying. You know, the lower self isn't based off of skin complexion. You know, so you have Europeans who are in that mass murderer lower self stage, like a lot of them are. Can't say quote unquote all of them, because some of them go through training to repress anger and things like that. But nonetheless, this is what's happening. There's many examples. So I say miss us with that, you know, it's a more national, you know, these dudes are clowns. And I just wanted to say that off the top. They are trying.
Let me put this out there too.
Yes.
With regard to the same shooting, the article that I read was talking about how the brother's family. Tell me if this sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
They spoke with the brother's family or something, right? Who was raised apart from the brother who was the shooter after the divorce or whatever, right? So this is what she's saying, right?
Right.
He was always talking crap about the government.
Oh.
It was like someone was feeding him this bull. One time he told me that, in brackets, black people don't have to pay for car insurance because we own the land. I would just hang up the phone on him. I don't have time for this. I've never seen movement. Oh, no, that's somebody else's quote. But this is a thing that we have to realize when it's a campaign going on. Now, they'll say that, you know, whoever out there, you know, Kanye's mom and all that stuff, conspiracy why she died because they took the check and all that type of stuff. How come the stuff doesn't apply to this? Because, I mean, technically, you know, the brother had on the house private property, no trespassing. Violators will be prosecuted.
Mm-hmm.
Now, anywhere else that has that up, you're not going to go across.
Right.
Even if it's highwayman.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to make sure their stuff is straight before they go across. Now, this is the second theme of someone that they say is Moorish, sovereign, or whatever, caught up in some shootout with police, but the individuals that they're talking about don't got LB or nothing like that. They're not even using the AKA LB in the article.
Right, right.
Usually you get an AKA LB in there.
Mm-hmm.
They keep calling him by straw the whole time. They keep calling him by straw.
Right.
And then throwing out now who really should be responsible? Because when you check the articles, he's an ex-Marine.
Yo, facts though, bro. All of them, bro, have been Mika Johnson, so-called Gavin Long. You know what I'm saying? And now this guy. They all. That's the common theme. They're all coming out of the military, bro. Like that's a fact. Right.
Now, hold on a second. So now, from my understanding, right? When people go to war and stuff like that, and then they come back here, and then they trip out and stuff like that and shoot up a place. And then they call that something relative to them going to war or whatever.
Yeah.
How come they're not applying to these people?
Exactly.
Maybe they have some type of trauma why they're doing. Maybe it has nothing to do with Moorish anything or warrants anything. It has to do with when these people went over to other places to go kill people that did nothing to them, that, you know, they got traumatized by what they saw over there and broke under pressure of coming back over here. Knowing that you went over there, you went and killed people for these people, and then you come back here and they're telling you about you can't get no benefits or whatever?
Exactly. Right.
That might cause somebody to lose. That just might cause somebody to lose it. I don't know. I'm just saying. You know?
You're right, though. You're definitely right, because when they come back, they treat them like dog food, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not taking care of them. That's what it always bugged me out. You see
Any
homeless
veteran.
Yeah.
Any veteran, ask them. They'll tell you. After we get back here, they treat us like BS.
Yeah.
Any veteran. But you know, because of the honor, the same thing like how El Haj learned the hard way, that you know that these people are sellout and you still giving them honor. No wonder they're not gonna. No wonder they're gonna treat people like BS. These people don't have any morals.
Exactly.
Now they're talking about. They're talking about. Oh yeah, he was you know, whatever. But they're not gonna talk about that. One of his children was delivered at home. They're not gonna talk about that he was homeschooling his children. Now, you know, why would he be homeschooling children? Because the schools are BS. Just like the military is BS.
Yeah.
Right? And then obviously the job is BS because they had a warrant for him for some driving stuff because he drove tractor.
Right.
And it's all just this thing to get you to abandon your birthright because they know that majority of the people out here are cowards and they'll give up their birthright for crumbs.
Right.
They know this. They know that people give up their birthright because of an article in a newspaper or on a website.
Yellow journalism. Yo, that is crazy, bro.
That people are going to give up their birthright. People are going to give up their inheritance because somebody said in a YouTube video.
Crazy,
and give up with no intention of reclaiming anything, just because they heard something. It was like I was at the school today, and talking with an elder who was my high school teacher. Right, he's retired. He does supplying now. So we're building on, you know, black people. How come black people ain't getting nowhere or whatever? And he's like, you know, a long time ago I read an article. It was by some Jewish man or whatever. And he was talking about all this stuff about why black people don't have stuff. And, you know, he was actually right. And you know what was the most interesting thing that he said? That if you want to hide anything from a black person, put it in a book, because they don't read.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Said right now, the reason this is the elder talking. My grade 9 science teacher. Actually, it's the same teacher. If you heard me in the track talk about in the science class, finding out the worms in pork and all that stuff. That same teacher.
Okay. True.
Right? That same teacher, Mr. John. Right?
Uh-huh.
And said, you know, this is what these people are suffering from right now. They don't know who they are. they think that they're black people only.
Wow. Full circle.
Full circle. Full circle. Right? And you know, Malcolm called full circle chickens coming home to roost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the other side of all this stuff that's going on right now is realizing that the sellouts and their handlers' time is up.
It's a wrap.
And all these people are running around like chickens with their head cut off right now.
Mm-hmm.
Finding any way possible to get you to abandon your birthright. And then even using your own to help you abandon your birthright while they keep theirs.
Yeah.
Make you abandon yours, but in the background they have theirs. Go ahead, Moor.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, it's so blatant obvious that they're on an agent mission, bro. Because there is no way you could tell me, you know, like the way they try to place blame, you know, for things that are like absolutely, you know, frivolous and can't be pinpointed on any specific more, because it's like this. You know, they're playing this game of, you know, RVBey, Taj was the ones that started the sovereign citizen. Oh, no. What they say, the Europeans came up with the concept of sovereignty, and they're saying sovereignty has nothing to do with Noble Drew Ali. When we know that is BS, because it's right in the chapter, it's right in the Circle 7, chapter 29. You know, they could try to play games like sovereign is some foreign concept. The reality is they were supposed to have been teaching people about that, and Moors did anyway without them doing it. So now they're playing this game of, oh, that's not the science, that's not the teachings of the Moor Science Temple of America, when in reality it's like, yeah, it is. It's just y'all haven't been teaching them. Y'all blatantly have been hiding these lessons. You know what I mean? And it's one thing to preserve information, but to blatantly lie, like, you know, this is a whole total foreign concept to what Noble Drew Ali was about. Because I'm like this, man. The flag, 5 points represent love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I can't emphasize it enough that freedom is a lawful principle. Like, it's not of you know, you got chains on out. You took the chains off, and you in general population, or you took the chains off, and you're out in the yard catching wreck for an hour. Like, just because the chains aren't there doesn't mean you're still not, you know, entrapped or enslaved. So this concept of freedom.
Quick interjection. Quick interjection, Moor. Your thought. And also, freedom is not anti-government. To put that in there too.
Factual. Yes.
Freedom is
absolutely.
not anti-government.
Yeah. Because they're acting. Nah, because they acting like, you know, the people are supposed to bend to the will of the government. When it's documented in American history and in United States history that the government only exists, the governments, quote unquote, only exist for the people. So how are they trying to flip this role? If the people are saying collectively, okay, our freedom entails the fact we don't need a driver's license from the Pilgrims. Like, that's a freedom statement. That's not anti-government, like you said. That's not anti-government because it's supposed to be about freedom. Look, man, before the 50s, you know, South Carolina had dog tags as driver's license. You understand what I'm saying to you? So it's like, for the natural people in the 21st century Gregorian calendar, I mean, we supposed to have been caught up. You know what I'm saying? Like, the power or the political power is in the people, you know, and that's the only reason they exist. So the master-servant relationship is real. But the thing is, you know, the one who took an oath to uphold, the Constitution for the people, they're the servants. It's not like, imagine if you go to a restaurant and you order a fish sandwich and you say, I want cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, mayonnaise on my fish sandwich. And, the server, the one who's taking your order, is telling you how you want your fish sandwich, and they're not placing your order correct. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you don't want lettuce and tomatoes. You don't want cheese. You want, you know what I'm saying, spinach instead. You know what I mean? We got some artificial spinach in the back we're going to give you. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't work like that. Like, I say what I want, you take the order and put it in. Same concept with the government. So, excuse me, I don't even like to say the government. Like, with these public servants fiending as government. But the whole thing is they're fiend, they're fake. So they do all of this trickery and color of law. The quote unquote shadow government is real. And I'll get into this a little later because I was doing my research on some of these so-called politicians, and they got some sick stuff going on. I remember it was a lot of this slander started, or shall I say negative suggestions started a while ago, but like they put something very foul on paper back in like 2011. So I started doing my research on this Magi, like just like at the end of the last year and into this year, and I'm like, oh wow, I googled the name that they put on a void order, and for a district court judge, Kugler, and he they're going into how he works for this secret court. They have like this whole shadow government. So like every time they put out an opinion about Moors, it says not for publication because it's not public record. They're doing private activities behind the scene, which is why these opinions and judgments have no standing in law, even though he's a quote-unquote district court judge appointed by George Bush out of all people. But come on, you know what I'm saying? This is what they're doing. They're creating these profiles and they're coming out with these different opinions, but it's not withstanding the test of time. Even though they have the agenda to like bring in this whole Christian energy, it's not working out too well for them. Because like Trump just got his travel ban plan blocked today. They shot it down again and they said that it violated the Establishment Clause, which is the First Amendment, meaning the Constitution is still valid, and it says that it targeted it was designed to discriminate against Muslims who had good faith. So they didn't let it stand, saying it was unconstitutional just today. So I mean, like, as long as people are enforcing the law, I mean, it's definitely gonna be okay. I mean, all right. Specifically though, just gotta learn how to see through the slander, man. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, when the Europeans got here, go ahead, Moore.
Well, I was gonna say that when we backtrack a little bit, you brought up something a few classes ago about the early introduction of bogus Freemasonry.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you were talking about the shadow government. Right? The slanders are the bogus shadow government.
Exactly.
Slanders are the ones that are claiming they have certain authority under what Noble Drew Ali laid down, which, like these people, they would be saying that, they could just make up whatever laws, forget the Constitution. Right?
Yeah.
Then when they get checked on the Constitution and shut down, just like we check these clowns with what Noble Drew Ali said opposed to what they say, and shut them down, what do? They don't pack up and go home. They keep carrying on with their BS.
Right.
Because they're still willing participants.
Yeah.
Still people out there who are willing to say, you know what? Thumbs up for the dirty Moors. And these people are all part of the same agenda.
Fact, bro.
That has been broken down to people. Treaty of Verona, Unum Sanctum, you know what I mean? Romanus Pontifex, all this stuff. There's not anything new that's going on.
Right.
Just take off the old label, get a new graphics guy, put on a new label, and then you think it's something new?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, and I think Drew Ali told you that your own is going to put you back in slavery, right? Going back to the brother that they murdered over some traffic BS, and these Moors are talking stupid stuff about people are sovereign citizens. When these people came and murdered this brother, they're supposed to have kept him. He shouldn't have been just one Moor dealing with some situation that he's dealing with. He should have been a Moor that had a group of Moors where he lives that he can go to, and they can sit down and build and see how to deal with the situation that he's got. So that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But certain people don't want to take that position. Certain people want to play like you need them. But this is really about, like the brother is saying, they have their own issue. He has his own sister telling these people who are interviewing her that to her, he just sounds like a crazy person. This is his sister.
Crazy, bro. Crazy.
His blood. Forget Moors and all that. His blood came out the same womb. She's not showing no sympathy at all that these foreigners murdered her brother. Zero. And then this is what these so-called love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, noble Drew Ali Moors are promoting as, hey, look what, this is why you shouldn't listen to those Moors, because this is what's going to happen to you because you listen to those Moors. But they're not addressing the fact that these people are foreigners and they just murdered the brother. Now, once they addressed highwaymen, now once did they ask to see, hey, somebody show the warrant, let's see if there's even the right judge that signed that.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
Since they're Moors and they know the law, right? And then that brother shouldn't have been calling himself Moorish National, all right? So then he should have been calling himself Temple Moor, all right? So where were you guys then? How come there's no reference of him interacting with you people and calling himself member of Moorish Science Temple? How come he's saying Moorish National?
Exactly.
Clearly you weren't around for him to have a reference point of view to use.
Exactly. But even with that, Cool Joe, they still playing games because it's like this. You know, the policy enforcers, they have a mission, all right? Like, the brother, let's not forget, Mansour Bey was in the Moor. He was a member of the Moor Science Temple of America, and he got shot down the same. Like, so when they play this whole dial game, like, oh, you know, if you're in the Moor Science Temple of America, you're exempt from death. Like, kick rocks, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know that the agenda is deeper than if you're in the temple or not. if you're in the church or not, if you're in a mosque or not. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than if you listen to RVBey publications. Like, yeah, it's the truth. All of that is facts. I'm just saying though, it's a alternate agenda in the world that people are not trying to recognize. Like, the shit is not real. Like, they didn't just wage a mini war from 2012 up to now. Like, they didn't do that. Like, that hasn't been happening. So we're going to forget everybody else who got innocently murdered by police and say, oh, well, because these Moors teach this is why they got murdered. So you're going to skip past everybody else. Like, this is not a problem on a way bigger scale.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, like, come on, fam. Who you playing? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. I'm not, name dropping none of that. But I was watching some of the interview with the brother Q Butter on Doggy Diamonds. And from what I seen, as much as I did listen to, I didn't get too deep in it. But he was telling the truth. Like, these dudes are sellouts, man. Like even like the dude Tommy Sotomayor, right? Like, he talked a whole bunch of shit on the internet. Dissing sisters, all of this. When he finally got caught at an event and got stole on, what was his first response? To call the police. You feel me? Like, these are the type of people you're dealing with. So they talk all that shit, but when you see them in real life, like in real life, they will not, you know what I mean? They'll run to the pilgrim on you. They will do that. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen situations where Dirty Moors was talking crazy and got their head split to the, you know what I mean, leaking, and then go out and say, oh, I got jumped. And nobody jumped you. You know what I'm saying? But these are the type of people that are out here talking crazy. You feel me? And then when you respond, their response is to go to the European. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy, like, because, they play that role, but in reality, come on, fam. You know what I'm saying? You screaming, it's 300 gangsters in the building, like, bro, you're home alone. Ain't nobody in the building. You feel what I'm saying? You're dealing with a virtual reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. You know what I mean? And shout out to them, shout out to Baltimore, period, but that lane, you know what I mean? He's a lane, bro. So people do anything for some YouTube credibility, but I know in real life it's a different story, man. Tommy Sotomayor is a perfect example of that. Everything is negative, disrespectful to women, and then when brothers really get a chance to press something, he calling police. Like, that's what happens. So I'm not, encouraging any violence. I'm just saying, keep in mind that these people's, their muftis are police, not, Islamic muftis. Like, that's not how they're rolling. You know what I'm saying? So be careful. Just, watch. Just watch. I don't want to say watch and be inactive, but just know that these types of operatives, they got the blue suits on their sides. That's what they doing. You feel me? And again, I just want to reemphasize, I'm not encouraging anybody to any violence. Just telling you the truth. People play tough and crazy and all of that, but when you get them, like, in real life, it's just a different story. So I'm not saying anybody is untouchable, but the reactions, you'd be like, damn, I thought you was about that, so now this is what we doing. We could have got some muftis if that's what you wanted to do, but I'm just saying, bro, these people are, I don't know what's up, bro. I don't know, but like the bro. But hold on, the bro said, he was like, so once you call police, it's a wrap. It's no, are we still cool type thing. Like, if they would call the police on his brother, they would do that to your mother, father, uncles, cousins. These are the type of people who are toxic in the community. Not because people have things to hide, it's just that they will jeopardize some things. You feel me? So, yeah. My fault, Moor. Please add on.
No, it's all good. But when you look at the demonology entities, the ones that cause the mischief are the lowest form. Like the ones that cause confusion, the demons that cause confusion, the realm of confusion that's run by demons, that's the lowest form of them. They're always around.
Yeah.
They find a way to make themselves present.
Mm-hmm.
And it always goes back to the, like in the Trismegistus and the transformation, the having the realization that you're not looking or waiting for something to happen. You're it happening.
Right.
I mean, like they use the example of the man doing the process of turning the lead to the gold, and then he's waiting for the process, but it's really him. By the time you get to the goal, you get like a pebble, and then you think you never got nothing because you had so much lead.
Mm-hmm.
But the refinement was really the individual. So, like, we know that active Moors, when we say active Moors, we know that active Moors are refined. They're not in the dark about certain things. You know what I mean? Like, rest in peace to everybody caught murdered by one of these highwaymen. No matter what they call their, they don't have to say that they're Moors or whatever like that. Like, they got murdered by highwaymen who are foreigners here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But again, because we're refined, we know that that's King Alfred plan. That's Spanish Inquisition. That's all the papal bulls, the edicts to murder our people. If they ever say that there's something other than what we label you as your conquerors. And some people just want to, be down with the conqueror label. They'll pretend knowledge itself. But when it's time to actually do some rituals, they're not nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
When it's actual time to be practical with the birthright. Okay, we say that we're Moors. What is that? How does that play out? Because that can't just be going to this building called Moor Science Temple and that means we're Moors. There's no way that that's it.
Right.
There's no way that that's the conclusion. The conclusion to finding out about my birthrights and Noble Drew Ali and all that stuff is to be in this building praying to Noble Drew Ali and that's it. And still paying taxes to this foreigner and still getting this foreigner's license and still having to be assimilated like a good Negro. That doesn't sound like Noble Drew Ali brought to me. And I have first-hand knowledge of not just witnessing, but actually being part of the manifestation of birthright.
Fact.
That we came from Negro, black, colored, African, conscious, Nuwapian, Nation of Islam, Rastafarian, Garveyite. Came from all that.
Mm-hmm.
We had buildings and all that. Double floor, 2-floor buildings, kitchen in the back, all that stuff.
Word.
Like we had frontline storefront. Had all that. What happened? Lost all of it as Negroes. Soon as 2008, we got Temple. We still got Temple.
Mm-hmm.
Still got Temple. All that black BS fit, but we still got more Science Temple though.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger than that black stuff that we were doing. Which we were doing big because, you know what I mean? We brought Professor Griff here. We brought Black Dot here. We brought RVBey here. You know what I mean? We did it up out here. Like, we did it up. We're the first people to Skype conscious whatever out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Matter of fact, Raz and Taj was our first Skype out here.
True.
You know what I mean? In a community that had a movie theater that nobody was using.
Wow. Right.
Right? So we know what this is. Right? We've gotten to registration people to go register Moorish Science Temple of America. And the registration people came to us and said, you need to go and get a letter of authority from an authority of that for us to work with you.
Yeah.
Because you can't just register the name Moorish Science Temple. Like, we need something. Right? So because we're already dealing with certain Moors that are active, that, you know, there ain't no sovereign citizen or nothing like that. We're just active Moors. We already had the letter. Bam, gave it to him. He's like, oh, you got the letter already? Bam, ran to the back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Came out, gave us the papers. Told us, check here, check here, check here. When we go read what's checked, it's that they don't want anything to do with us. They don't need to know anything about what's going on and what we're doing. Because they checked out our stuff, that there really was this guy named Noble Juali and all that, and he was supposed to have this thing called Moorish Science Temple, and you have a letter saying that they say that you can have one of these, then whatever you're supposed to do. We don't have no go see them for any tax, anything or whatever like that. They don't come check our books or nothing like that. They don't got no books for them to check.
Mm-hmm.
So we know what Moorish Science Temple of America is supposed to be. Right? We've asked the so-called officials in the government in an intelligent tone, and we got favorable reply. This is why these people have their campaign, and they're mad. Because the pews are empty.
Right, right.
Pews. The pews are empty.
Yeah.
Right?
If they would have stayed focused on the message instead of other messengers like that, they would have been all right. You know what I mean? If they really was repping Noble Juali like they say they do, but if they was getting into the lessons, I mean, you know, it's just jealousy, bro. Jealousy, hate, and shit like that. Lower self frequencies.
The same thing. That's the mischievous demons, the lower frequency.
Yeah.
That's the mischievous demons. That's the tackling the demons in the darkness, in meditation.
And the whole thing is obey this color of law. Like they're really under the color of authority illusion. Like they really believe that the color of authority is the actual authority, and that's what we have to obey. But it reminds me of out of the book Behold the Pale Horse, on page 234 at the bottom, an excerpt from page 5. It says, "It is time to stand up in the manner of our forefathers and walk like men." He says, "I remind you that the Jews of Europe marched obediently to the ovens after having been warned, believing all the while that the facts could not possibly be true." So they was all warned, you're marching, you're taking a death march to the ovens. They didn't believe it. You know what I mean? And the end result was they was in the ovens. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like they didn't have fair warning. So it says, when the outside world was told of the Holocaust occurring in Hitler's Europe, it was not believed at first. So, when these people acting like, oh, this is Moor's fault, like, no, there's an agenda to exterminate, and you're the target. That's what's happening. It's a fact. And it's not to put anybody in fear. I'm just saying we can look at the facts of what is happening. What happened is not anything new. These are old habits. And like Noble Dry Lee mentioned, I think it was in Message to America where he was talking about, maybe time would heal those ancient hatreds. But those are ancient hatreds. That's not, because remind you, that's lower self when you're murdering, but it's not in self-defense. Self-defense is one thing, but then it's like, well, is there any of your rights that are more or less important or valuable than any other one of them? Because you have the right to self-defense, you have the right to travel, personal liberty, all of these things. Like, is there any one of them that's less important than the other one? So, I mean, when you have rights, they're your rights, your liberties, etc., birthright. I don't see where the like how the lines blurred, like, only some rights are valuable. Now, people can waive rights and all of that in contracts and things like that. I'm just saying, though, you gotta be on it. That's all. And then, pardon me to get too explicit, but I can't take, all due respect to, the structure and rules of civilization. But at this point in time, like, it's hard to take these people serious. Like, Trump is in office. He got something disrespectful to say about our people every other week, and I turn on the politics headlines to see what's going on. Trump is paying off porn stars. This is the government they talking about we need to obey. So I'm like, well, if the founding, quote unquote, the people who founded and established, or the people who adopted the Constitution knew that, the people have the right to alter or abolish it. If it's all these problems, why not just abolish it? Like, why not? Why not start with your mental connection to it first? But again, that's not for me to say or do, for anybody else, because government means to govern the mental. Study law, and you'll see that all of these things are birthright. So that's what I'm saying. If they're that much of a problem, and the law is the law, there's a solution. Abolish. That doesn't mean, get bulldozers and destroy everything. I'm just saying you have the right to not be a part of that. And that's another thing they was talking about in the Behold the Pale Horse. Like, governments was never made or established to be at their will. It's not how it works. So unless you're dealing with tyrants, and even that is not constitutional. So I mean, no matter how they cut it, bro, it's not doesn't work out, you know. But yeah,
and then
so basically,
and remember too that, you know, behold the pale horse author, you know, not to be scared or anything like that, but he got assassinated, and he's European.
Yeah.
He's on their side.
Yeah. He graduated military or Navy, like
Navy man again.
He was that guy though. Like I mean, as far as the degrees or the badges or the stripes he earned in that, he was way up there, bro.
People start realizing that, damn, all these years, I thought this was for my country and all that, but this was for some private corporation that has nothing to do with me.
Right.
It's time to, you know, do like our founding fathers did, and then they start talking like that. That's not sovereign citizen. That's these people realizing that the government ain't the government. And we've been played.
Indeed. Big time.
I know, but remember too that there's a catch-22, because they have to tread lightly, because they can't really talk too much on it. They'll talk enough for them to skate through, so they don't have to deal with the Negroes.
Right. Indeed.
You know.
Yeah, there's only so much they're gonna say.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
For certain.
Go ahead, Moor.
No, because like they remind you, you know, they was putting people under gag orders and things like that to stay quiet and silent on things. You know, that happened during the 60s, 70s. They was putting quote-unquote gag orders on Panther and things like that. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. But, you know, it's in the times where people are going to have to just tell it like it is, you know, find a, you know, art form to express it, whether that be, you know, writing, videos, whatever, you know, whatever it takes, man. It's just like the message got to get out there. I mean, because it's out there, but it's like, damn. Like, sometimes if you don't put it in people's lap, they're just not going to get it, bro. You know? And even then, like you said, you have those who are willfully just negligent. Like, they're not, you could give them all the facts and they still, I don't believe it. Like, sorry to say, like, even with the sister who was like, oh, yeah, my brother was crazy. Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So we that's where we at. It's just another, you know, got murked. Like, that's how it is. I don't know, man. I don't know. But, yo, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. That's why it's important, again, for people to, like Noble Drew Ali said, you know, these lessons was to get your house in order. Because, I mean, if that's what your sister think about you, damn, like, you know what I mean? You know the house wasn't unified or in order like that. Your sister is like, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, bro. Like, how come she didn't get the lessons? But then again, you know, some people's family, they just like, I don't want to hear none of that. Like you said, you know, she said, I would say you're crazy, hang up, and all of this. But, yeah, man, so therein is another source of the problem is like when families are not on the same page, you know, it starts to get like, you already see what's coming. It's funny you mentioned the catch-22 because it's so it's so interesting. I was just doing some general search on it, and it was like, you know, the whole thing about the catch-22 is like, they were saying like you go to the bank, and if you say, well, I want a loan, and they say, well, why? And you're like, because I need the money. Like, they won't give you a loan. They won't give you a loan because you need money. Like, they'll give you a loan because you're trying to do something, you feel me? But not just because you need money. So if that's like your answer, like, I need the money, you know what I mean? That's not going to happen. You feel me? You have to have some sort of plan or something. And it's like, though, no matter if you have a plan and you still need the money, like the sole purpose can't just be you need the money or the notes or whatever, part of my expression. But I was thinking about that doing on my numerology, like the 22. So, yeah, man, all law is specific. You know, all law is very specific. When it says that the people have the right, not the privilege, but the right to alter or abolish, and you look at the track record of what has been consistently going on before Todd started teaching, before the Moor Science Temple of America even existed. You know what I mean? There were these problems, which is why it was erected to exist. So, I mean, like, we got to be more logical, you know, and these people that are just getting up on the tube just to try to point out, like, frivolous things, like, oh, the brother, like, again, the brother got, who had it in with the police or whatnot. You can't pigeonhole all Moors to that. Just like the European boy, again, who shot up the school in Florida. You can't pigeon everybody into that, pigeonhole everybody into that. So that's where I'm at with it, bro. I don't know, man. It's like the slander is so frivolous and thirsty at this point. You could just see it, bro. It smells like, and it's obvious that it's an intentional will for frivolous points to be placed on, you know, people who don't deserve that. And like I said, you know, they say, oh, well, Taj is the founder or the father of the right to travel and the sovereign ideology. I'm just looking at it like, yo, Taj did his best to get the information out the best he could. Y'all call it how you want. That's what the man did. And is what Noble Drali was talking about. When you look at his total body of work, it's what Noble Drali was talking about for a fact. You know, so freedom, again, like you said, is not anti-government. It goes all the way in to many different facets of life, you know, from your freedom of movement, contract, everything, you know, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, all of these things. So however you got to go about pursuing your happiness and sustaining your life with your liberty, anybody who's not for that is the enemy, point blank, you know. And I don't mean that like, you know, we're going to have to go kill people. I mean as like, yo, an injury is an injury. If they violate your rights, it's an injury. Somebody's trying to injure you, that's not your friend. You know what I mean? And we have to be aware of that. So whether it be physically injuring you or playing around with your rights, all of these things could cause injury. And that's just what it is, bro. So with that, I yield the floor to you for now. Islam.
Islam. Let's put this one out there. Black Holocaust 2000. Del Jones. The black community is nothing more than a concentration camp. And as the invisible walls get thicker and thicker, the occupation troops become deadlier with their bag of sophisticated weaponry, surveillance equipment, civic air force, and deadly commando strike force, SWAT teams. And the walls get higher and higher. Meanwhile, black politicians the clergy and collaborators talk about sensitizing the police. Frank Morales wrote in Covert Action magazine, the assumption is that a few bad apples need only to read a manual or two and talk to a counselor. In fact, the police have been trained to kill. The only role psychiatric behavior modification is playing is to assist in the brainwashing required to create a killer through conditioning, cultivating in the officer a near instinctual reaction to a programmed stimulus and a manufactured contempt for the perp. Ron Hampton, a retired police officer and executive director of the National Black Police Association, told Amnesty International 1988 that in a training video, every criminal portrayed is black.
Damn, bro.
So we know that's a campaign.
Same thing happened down in Florida with the sister who was a part of, I think it was either Homeland Security or the Coast Guard. She went into target practice at the firing range, and she go to take aim, and it's her brother's picture as the target. You know what I mean? With his eyes shot out, all of these different things, and that's when she was like, hold up. You know what I mean? She going to take aim on the image of her brother. And you know what I mean? She started crying. Oh, nah. Yeah. So imagine that. You working with these people, and they doing some voodoo ritual, because remind you, it's about image. So if you know, they can do things with an image, it's already subconsciously planted in their mind. Like, when I see him, I'm shooting. You know what I mean? Or that's the first instinct. And these are people, that's why I'm saying, like, even working for them is not even safe, bro. Because, you know, they got your family members as target practice. Like, and you was looking all stupid when you come through for target practice, because now you're taking aim at your family. Like, and then what does it feel like to even have to ask to take the thing down so that you can shoot? Like, you don't even want to do that at that point. So, yeah, bro, it's real, like you just said in the training video. And, damn, I got to go back and do some research. But they got another spot like that, too. I know it's Quantico, but it's something alley. It's something alley. I'll get the research, and we'll talk about that one another time. But, like, that's where they train a lot of them to do the shootings. You know, it's like a warehouse type of thing. And they, you know, I guess it's all types of I don't know what the hell, man. But that's where they do a lot of training on the East Coast. Facts. And like you said, they're using our imagery for the target. But I don't know if you was finished adding on, bro, but continue. Because that happened with the sister or the Moorish woman in, like, this decade, you know? So it's still going on.
Yeah. But it goes back again to why it's important or what we're doing. You know, because the divine side cures all that. You know, it gets us out of being in these positions to not really see what's going on, because we'll have our eyes wide open. We'll be very cognizant.
Mm-hmm.
But everything comes down to perspective. You have the right perspective, you should be all right.
Yeah.
You know.
But, bro, it's a lot of people who are feeble-minded, bro. Like, they think that, you know, you like, I don't know. It's like some people just don't want to take leadership of themselves. Like they'll like you could give them the perspective, but sometimes it's like, you know, they'll be overbearing with it. Like, you know, they won't just take the message. They gotta get it from you. They want you to, you know, write the alphabet form and everything, bro. So like it goes to that aspect of self-responsibility. I mean, I understand that that's what the essence of what Noble Drew Ali was teaching was, you know, self-responsibility in the aspect of, you know, moral conduct, freedom, you know, truth, justice, peace, love. I know I said those out of order, if you will, but yeah, man. So I don't know, bro. Like it's like the people that's still looking for the leaders is what I was referring to in Behold the Pale Horse earlier. You know, people was they were warned, you know, they're gonna march you to ovens and slow cook you. But they didn't want to believe it because they were still looking for a leader, bro. Like, this is the problem. Like, people start looking at themselves for the remedy. It starts changing, bro. That's how, like you said, with the man with the lead and the gold. Like, if you're not doing it, you know, for you, and I don't mean that in a selfish way. I just mean that, yo, like, come on. You know, this is your, like you said, it's your movement. It's your information, you know, so it's a self-responsibility to that. Because like I said, man, I don't feel concept of a leader is what's going to get us to where we need to be. And I say that in conjunction with the fact that Noble Drew Ali in the Red Book, he was saying how, or giving a lesson on how Yahshua was saying that the priesthood was dead. It's done. It's a wrap. We don't need leaders like that. It's more so now, how do we produce leaders for the future? You feel me? And of course, that goes back to birthrights, the women. But again, when the brother is on it and his own sister is saying, you know, he's crazy, like, bruh, you know what I mean? We got problems. You feel me? Either him or her. I mean, let me not even get into that. But that would be like the last thing you want to say about a family member to foreign pilgrims, you know. Because I don't know what happened, you know, whatever, but damn, that's crazy.
Yep. Crazy.
That's crazy, bro. Yeah. So yeah, I was trying to pull a source, but my screen froze. When I get it right, I'll definitely pull that back up. Yeah, man. So it is what it is, bro. Won't have too many callers right now at all. But yeah. Oh yeah. And another thing too, they rejected one of the immigration bills as well. Yeah, one of the, you know how they was deporting the so-called dreamers, like they just shut that down too. I don't know if that's temporary or what, but and that's the thing, like they never really had the jurisdiction to do that anyway. But forcibly they did do that. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. So the students, right? The students at that school, they told the lawmakers like, "Yo, you're the children. Y'all are the adults. We're the children," and they feeling like they failed them, you know. And then Trump was saying there's so many signs that the Florida shooter was mentally disturbed. And I'm like, well, if there's so many signs, why y'all not making profile reports on that? I want to see those profile reports, because they sure do have trash to talk about Moors through yellow journalism. I want to see the report in the profile on how they view these Europeans who are, shooting up, mass numbers of people, more than the basketball team on the regular, though. On the regular. So, and again, AR-15s, how you get an AR-15 in school? Who didn't see that coming? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
No, and you know, trust me, because it's that crazy, because I can tell you firsthand, being in schools, that ear to the street all day, and you're gonna know what's up, what's going down.
Yeah.
Right? Because remember that we're dealing with social media generation. They don't have no street codes and stuff like that. These people be snitching all day, every day.
Yeah, exactly.
All day, every day. Nothing gets by. Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, one of the comments say by the far right, it says what is it, Jack Posobiec? It says the FBI spent more time going after General Flynn for a legal phone call than Nicholas Cruz for a reported school shooter threat. That's what they're saying. So they look crazy right now because, as far as what they put in the public eye, this is the type of things they're worried about. Who was on the phone with who, in Russia and frivolous shit like that, opposed to, there's like homegrown European pilgrim young terrorists on American land right now in their European descent, not Moorish descent. Like, so if they could get that in order, because, you're not, come on, who has AR-15s on the Reggie like that? And they just getting access to AR-15s? Ain't no European coming to no more to buy no AR-15. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but come on. They got more sturdy or stable connects than that. So, and I know, and no knock on all the Moorish firearm collectors or things like that. But trust me, they're going straight to the source for these firearms. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's happening. So, I don't know, man. I just hope that, nobody else got to suffer these types of terroristic attacks, And I'm just bugged out, like, how they didn't see an AR-15 coming. Like, that's crazy to me, But, I know it's a lot more to the story. It's still developing. All I'm saying is for all of those who ride that whole BIE wave and blame Moors and all of this, nah, Moors ain't that bad. This is the real threats, because, mind you, it's probably adults just like him, or actually it is. We've seen that with the Vegas shooting. They say that was the biggest mass shooting, allegedly, the biggest mass shooting in U.S. history, which is still a joke, but, that's what they're saying. So, yeah, more.
It's funny, they talk of mass shooting, but they're not going to talk about Ralph Ginsburg, 100 years of lynchings. And that's just the stuff that they found. And again, to show that there's always been a campaign against the darks. They're too stupid to realize that they're the game.
Yeah.
Like they're the game. The game is people who classify themselves as something that they're not. That's the board. That's the pieces. That's the court. That's the everything.
Mm-hmm.
Start getting in there, you're vulnerable to anything happening and everything happening.
Yeah.
Forget everything. This is all about birthright, knowing your mind, knowing yourself, getting back in tune with nature, with the universe, realizing that you and Allah are one, having love for your brothers and sisters, recognizing that truth reigns supreme. That's all that we have right now. All we have right now is truth. You don't have anything else right now. Nothing else means anything but truth right now. And that truth sometimes scares people. Makes them go against their self. Yo, did you have any thoughts about the flag raising?
My fault, bro. I was talking. That's what I was trying to ask you about, bro, because I seen it. I need to watch it again. It just sounded like, I don't know, it sounded something like how the proclamations read, but not really. Because I don't know. I didn't go. I seen the clip that you sent me. But when the lady was reading it, because I don't know, I heard Moors was like pledging allegiance to the Star Spangled Banner and all of this. I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see the video. Yeah. But I just saw the video clip that you sent to me, bro. And it just sounded like they was like basically containing us to quote unquote Africa over there. Because they was mentioning the different kingdoms of like Libya, you know what I mean?
Right.
Morocco, Tunis, Algiers, and that's true because that's noted in the Circle 7, you know, when it's speaking of the industrious acts of the Muslims. But I'm like, you know, keep in mind we was here as well, you know, so absolutely. And I know, you know, not to be divisive, but I was already working on something with pulling that fact out even more about the fact that, you know, I mean, we all know, but just for the people, like, so-called Africa is over here. It's scientifically, they proved it. They was talking about the magnetic lines and all of this in the earth on the southeast corner of North America. So it's like, we know we home here. You know, if you really want to take our lineage all the way back, we was already here. So yeah, I just gotta watch it again, bro. Like I said, everything was just coming so fast this week. I didn't catch up with it. Like I didn't see the whole video. I heard Moors was pledging allegiance to the Star Spangled Banner. I don't know. I hope not, because I'm like, I know even NFL players denationalized know that that's not what it is. You know what I'm saying? However, people have their free will. I don't know if I'm speaking right and exact if anybody did, because like I said, I only seen the clip that you sent me. You feel me?
That's all I see.
And it's the whole thing. What's your thoughts on it, though, bro?
Well, I mean, one thing that came out also today that somebody sent me, that the same people who got the proclamation were on People's Court further up.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, you know, how are you to be taken serious if People's Court isn't serious?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then this is coming out around the same time as this proclamation or whatever.
Yeah.
This can't be something credible. But again, that has to do with those Moors in that corner that don't want to be active. Because there's no way, like I was talking about in another class, there's no way that you're telling me city, whoever, is having a flag raising and I'm only telling the immediate people in our temple and that's it.
Right. That's a national event, really.
National event, but hey, they're not Moorish nationals. They're citizens of some BS. So, they're kind of playing their card.
Right.
You know how stuff, and I could hear the haters. Well, Taj was there. Well, Taj was there, and then Nature was supposed to be there, but he wasn't there because, according to what Grand Sheikh Nature is saying, this is something routine that they do. Call the Moors that have credibility when they want to show off that they know these Moors.
Right.
Same Moors that they're on their little blog talk show on YouTube or whatever and talk BS about. They're going to pose in pictures with them about they got some proclamation. But then go on the blog talk and sneak this.
Crazy, bro.
And think that people don't see you, the games that you're playing, on purpose.
Right.
Because, to
bro.
dummies, you know what it is to dummies, but, you're really dealing with people who are adept and have knowledge of self.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not the sleepers that don't know what's going on.
Right.
We're well aware of what's going on. Well aware. We've experienced enough to know what's going on. And people are going to take this skewed position and push that as a reality. Like how is it that the flag is being raised?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Proclaimed by the city. City, proclaiming this. And
right.
There's no portion of this. Like zero promotion. Zero promotion? How's there zero promotion?
Right, though. Yeah, bro, that's crazy. I didn't know. I didn't hear anything about it until I know y'all talked about it briefly. I missed like the majority of that broadcast, but yeah, that's crazy. Like it was more that wasn't finding 30 in the morning type of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy, bro.
Crazy. But these are the representatives.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the representatives of this corruption. This corruption that we're viewing, that we're seeing, manifesting. Fusionists.
It's crazy, bro. My thing is like, I don't know if so. Okay, my fault. When you said it's a routine thing that they do, like, do you mean like for a multitude of events, or like do they usually do that event and like is it they raised the flag in honor and then took it down, or like they just mean like routine, whereas if it's something happening, that's when they reach out type of thing?
I think it was just for the day.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, bro. Well,
because remember they were saying that it was from Moroccan independence, which included Moorish Americans.
Yeah, but then you got these other jackasses who are saying that, you can't be a Moroccan if you're a Moorish American, and you can't be a Moorish American if you're a Moor. Like, they're different things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, the treaty wasn't for you, it was for Moroccans. Like, come on, you sound silly. Because, again, chapter 14, why are you Moorish American? Question 14, why are you Moorish American? And it's just that simple, you know what I mean? For that particular aspect. Now, I know that Morocco is here. That is a fact, scientifically proven, all of that. Because mind you, things are always being revealed. Like, even how they say they found plates up under like 9-12 miles under the ground off the East Coast. Like, that soil is so-called Africa or whatever. It's all the same. You know what I mean? But with that being the case, Morocco is over here. Like, that's as far as the continent goes of Al-Qibalan, like, the furthest northwest you could go is the Kingdom of Morocco. So, that was land attached here if they talking about, the land, it broke off of the East Coast and it's still parts up under the East Coast, 9-12 miles underground and all of this. You know what that is. So, I see it like, look, we're home, Aboriginal, Indigenous, and that's what it is. So
even something like that, like the people who claim that they study or whatever, they don't really digest certain things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're saying you come from Africa, but a piece of Africa was found over here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what more you need than that?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, what more you want? There shouldn't be any more that has to be explained. Because remember, among the European circles, they've been known this. They're just coming out now saying, "Oh yeah, we found out whatever and whatever," because they got to put it out. You know what I mean? They can't keep it secret like that. But this is info that's out, proving the claims that one's been making.
Yep.
Like, I remember, again, early doing research on that information, Pangea and all that. Atlantis, Moor, all these places, cataclysms, putting Drew Ali and everything. Realizing that, damn, like, he's piecing this whole thing together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's really uniting Asia, like, for real. Like, he's really bringing continents back together. I'm like, oh man, okay, and you start getting into this information about over here being Africa, and them finding Egyptian stuff over here, and pyramids over here, and place over here called the same stuff over there. Like, oh man, like, something's going on.
Exactly.
Somebody's been playing some kind of game that's not funny right now.
Real talk. And Olmec heads too. Can't forget about how obvious they are. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, all the info is artifacts speak. But then look, check it out too, bro. Like, and this is interesting, right? Because we know, like we was just speaking on, that this is Northwest Africa, right? They already, it's documented. You could Google it. They saying it already. You know, parts of Africa was found here in North America, whatnot. But it's like that, like you said, that information is like so it makes it so obvious that even if you thought you was from across the Great Atlantic, like you're still home here, Aboriginal and indigenous. So like when the brother was saying, you know, when the brother was on the at the news station, at the you know what I'm talking about, the news clip where bro declared his nationality, like Hulk Hogan, right? Like that's the realest proclamation ever. I don't care what nobody say. Like he was on spot, proclaimed his nationality. He said it to the people. I know in written form, but it goes to show that that's true. But one of the things I wanted to point out is that so we know Africa is here. They found all types of artifacts here in the northern hemisphere, right? But they also last year just came out with the report that the oldest bones was found in so-called Morocco today, the Moroccan kingdom. But again, if the oldest bones was found there and that land was attached to here, it also lets you know that the Moors are the oldest people. Like, period. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. So Morocco, oldest bones. Off the coast of the Carolinas, so-called Carolinas, etc., in inland southeast North America, they're finding fertile soil or soil of Africa. So all of these things connect. So out of all of the places that they said they found bones and all of this, they're still connecting it back to Moors. Oldest bones found in so-called Morocco. Now, who knows? 100 years from now, they might find a burial site in Asia somewhere, but it's still all the same. Like, you know, this was all one land. So it's like no matter which way you look at it, it's going to prove to you that we are, in fact, the oldest people on the planet, fam, you know, and not just on a concept of being humanoids, like real, you know, in the flesh human beings, or you know, for whatever better word for those who don't register with that, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, facts, bro. So no matter how you look at it, they're giving it up to Moors being Aboriginal here and having the oldest bones in so-called Africa. Either way you look at it. Morocco, though, not Ethiopia, Morocco. So, yeah, man, I mean, it's just the truth is being revealed. It's just a matter of us to catch the truth and knowing the rights that go with that. Like, that's what I was saying when we go back a couple weeks, like, with the brother who called, and he was like, you know, how do we get people to buy the land? I'm like, yo, it's more so about understanding the natural connection to it anyway. Make those claims and do something else with the resources. Because especially down south, you know, our people were abundant with land. They weren't, you know, necessarily lacking like that. Like, the land was abundant. So yeah, man, I mean, it's just a lot to our story. And another thing that bugs me out is they be like, ain't no piece of paper gonna free you. I'm like, well, if history repeats itself, there's a lot of people who was considered free because of the papers that they had and possessed. All right, so the documentation is for real. You know, it's a major aspect to stating your position or your claim in life, in society, because without the paper, they would have been considered quote unquote slaves. You feel me? So it's like, can't downplay paperwork. That goes a very long way. You feel me? So I don't know, bro. That's just how I'm seeing it. You know, nationality, connecting with the fact that we're Aboriginal, indigenous to the land. That means territorial jurisdiction. Oldest bones found, the Moroccan. Let you know again, like that's Earth territorial jurisdiction. And these things just, I mean, they make the claim that much more easier, or the understanding that much more easier. So yeah, geography, geology, anthropology, all of these things are important subjects, bro. You know, they definitely are. Specifically when we're talking about nationality and territorial jurisdiction, for certain.
Yeah.
So yeah, indeed, bro. Yeah, so we got about 13 minutes left until the live internet feed goes down. And then we have another hour left. So if anybody wants to tune into the last hour, you could call in now at 425-569-5201, because at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time, you won't be able to listen through the radio anymore. So yeah. But for certain, bro, I was just thinking on that, and the whole concept of false blame that they put on the sovereignty, like the quote unquote United States doesn't claim to have some, even though they don't. So I just see it like you were saying before, they try to put new labels on us. I just see that as them starting to go that way of trying to find a more politically correct word to treat people like property, or code words to treat people like property. Not that they're not doing it right, but yeah, so now it's sovereign citizen and all of these things. All of that is the BS, you know. That's really what it is, man. But again, like even with the brethren who was dealing with that, like you said, like what about the question and the line of questioning of, was the warrant even valid? Were they serving a valid valid warrant or not? Because if the warrant was invalid, they were in error, you know. Who's going to check that out? Again, I know there's some information out there speaking on, you know, the warrants being invalid, even if it's a misnomer, if the language is defective, all of these things make it invalid. So you gotta be, and again, hold on, my fault. It's a maxim from out of John George Fillmore's Maxim of Jurisprudence, and it says no one is guilty of a crime because he exerts his rights. You know, so I mean, people have the right to self-defense. I hope that doesn't ever have to go to somebody losing their life. But you know, in certain situations, that's what happens. I mean, because think about it: if somebody just ran up on you in a costume and you didn't know anything, you know, they're unannounced, they didn't identify themselves, you know, you're definitely in the right for self-defense. And sometimes those warrants are not properly served. They're invalid, and it could cause these types of things to happen. I'm not saying that is right. I don't feel like, you know, I don't know. That's a different story. But I'm just saying that there's a lot of elements that go into a certain situation playing out. And we don't have the facts on any of that. You know, they tell a story how they do. They don't hardly ever acknowledge their responsibility for the fact that these people coming out of military, and I noticed this, when they send Europeans back home from the military, they have different, therapies, different therapies to normalize them back into society. So like they had a European on the news the other day, and he was coming back from the battlefield or whatnot across seas. But when he got back here, one of the things that they did to help him normalize was gave him a dog. Like, he had a dog to help him socialize. Now, that may work for him being European, you know, but there's other people who need something mentally to get them through. And if they're, because think about it, Mika Johnson, so-called Gavin Long, and this brother, I forgot his appellation or whatnot, but like you said, all of them are military, bro. You know, that's not, can't just put that on Moors. It's like the young boy Dylan Roof who shot up the church. Feel me? He was Christian mind state. And I mean that in an ancient sense. You feel me? Like, and I don't even want to say ancient, I mean an older sense. Not just some worshiping believer. Like, this is, like you said, the Spanish Inquisition, all of these things, bro. I don't know what they're into. If it's, I don't know. Before they used to be like, it's the video games, all of these things. It's something with these Europeans where they decide, like, yo, I'm going to just go on a mass shooting spree, like, and just kill mad innocent people. I know, certain people, man, they know the target, and that's what they're going for. But these people are just like, everybody can get it in the damn high school, you know? And again, it goes back to the point you pointed out earlier about the fact that the brother was teaching, or I don't know how his relationship with the counterpart was, but if they were teaching at home, that gave them a very strong advantage. You know, that was a very strong advantage to not have their children exposed to that. And I know every school in the world didn't go through that. I'm just saying that there's a lot of European schools that are, this is what's happening. You know, like back when we was young, the most mischief, we probably like egg a house, blow out the change in the payphone or something like that. But as far as like being that mischief to come to school with an AR-15 and just shoot innocent people, man, show me a case of any more unconscious that did anything remote to that, like for no reason though. So I don't know any of them. I know how Moor's conscious, unconscious, how it get down, but I just don't see how it parallels. There's something else going on with them. And again, it could be the video game programming. They playing Call of Duty and things like that. They're living that virtual reality out. Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe their uncles and fathers are, they look at the war achievement or the killing and the murdering as a actual badge of honor. Because like we were saying, man, these people come back from the military and they are like, they really need to be renormalized. Some of them, there is no coming back. Like, they just shock value. So I say that all of this stuff they blaming on Moors, man, the responsibility really goes back to them. Again, these are people fresh out of their programming. So I don't get how, innocent Moors just get to be the blame for that. So yeah. Yes, indeed. Again, just on the note of freedom, right? This is from John Bouvier's Concise Encyclopedia of Law, Francis Rawley's third revision. On the definition of freedom, it says all persons must be restricted by those obligations which are essential to the freedom of others. But these are not inconsistent with the possession of rights that may be enjoyed by all. So I mean, all of these people who, right, by those obligations, because it said all persons must be restricted by those obligations. And the obligation to these public servants is the Constitution. natural law, treaties that are pre-constituted, that pre-constituted the Constitution, if you get what I'm saying. Because if there was no treaty, there would be no Constitution. So the Constitution secures the treaty is valid and things of that nature. So yeah, man, and this is just what it is. So the freedom of others is also secured by the Constitution, even down to the First Amendment. Even if you're saying, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice from a religious point of view, still protected by the First Amendment. So all of these are obligations. You look at what an obligation is, what freedom is, and that's basically, a very broad subject. You could take that for yourself how you want, but nonetheless, it's paramount to know these things, that they have actual function in law, politics, history, present, government, all of these things. And that's just what it boils down to, man. Another one from out the Bouvier's Concise Encyclopedia of Raw, page 2962. It's definition of right. It says the right of personal liberty, which consists in the power of locomotion, of changing situation or removing one's person to whatsoever place one's inclination may direct, without restraint unless by due course of law, meaning they can't even restrain you unless due process of law is in effect, meaning there has to be a complaint signed by a complaining witness to face your accuser, and there can't be a accuser, judge, jury, and executioner at the same time. So, due process of law is paramount. These are things that the Constitution were essentially established for, because even when you look at, like, the Declaration of Independence and all of that, and they was talking about how they weren't getting trials by jury, they were being unlawfully taxed. Like, this is what was happening. And as far as it applying to all people, I can't say that at the time they declared their independence, they was declaring it for everybody. No, for them to break away from the mother country, allegedly. But nonetheless, the concept of what they were saying was is universal, and recognized by everybody. I mean, that's just simple math, simple math. So I all I could say is, man, these people are pointless with trying to not just discredit Moors who are teaching law, but to actually try to whitewash American history and European history, or United States history at the same time, is ridiculous. Because, like you said, you couldn't have said it any better, freedom is not anti-government. That's a fact, bro. So, yeah, man, that is, yup. And again, I gotta re-emphasize this because I mentioned this a while ago, but in the John Bouvier's Concise Encyclopedia of Law, Francis Rawley's third revision under the maxims, it talks about the maxims being divided into three classes, and the first was Roman, the second was Roman modified, and the third was indigenous. And the Roman modified, because remind you, municipal means Roman. So, like, there's Roman maxims and indigenous maxims. Why? Because we are not the same. You know what I mean? And they could have said anything. They could have said, Asian maxims. They could have said, American maxims, African maxims. They said indigenous maxims. So I'm looking at it like, oh, yeah, they know that the indigenous people of the planet are the same all over the earth. There is no difference, so, or Aboriginal indigenous people, to be precise. So, yeah, bro, that's some law pieces that was on my mind. Let me see who we looking like on the call. Cool, no callers, bro. We don't have any callers. I mean,
you must have been good tonight.
Yeah, I trust so, bro. I mean, we could either go on or just close out here. You want to add anything on, or what?
Well, I mean, I will say that, stay close to self. Stay close to self, because things are going to be revealed to you to help you along the way right now.
Yeah.
They're going to be revealed to you to help you along the way, so stay close to self. And a little voice never lied to you yet.
Mm-hmm.
And a big Islam to you, Miz, for, just remaining humble and not going and checking some people that just need to get checked. Because, it's crazy when people talk crazy about your moms in high school and we're fighting. So
I don't know where they at, bro. That's the thing. I don't know no. These people, I don't know where they at. You feel me? So yeah, that's true. I mean, but I don't see people in real life. This is 2D. You know what I'm saying? I don't see they say that they're grand sheiks of temples. I haven't seen their temple address posted yet. You feel me? So I don't know if I'm tripping, if I missed something. I haven't seen that information shared. I haven't seen any of that. From what I'm hearing, these are people with virtual temples. So this shit is not even, it's holographic, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's easy, like, if I knew where, like, like if there was a Moor that had a problem and I knew where they was at, where their temple was at, etc., cool, we could visit. You know what I'm saying? These people, they're just virtual temples, bro. That's what they say. So I don't know how to connect. You feel me? When I speak my piece or leave a message, you know how these people do. Like, cause I've seen some classes and they're slandering, but the students or the people in the chat speak up. And like anybody with a opposing opinion, they're not trying to be heard. They just block them out. So it's like this thing is all virtual. You know, if it was really a problem, you know what I'm saying, then it is what it is. But they're not. I don't know. Am I missing something? Have you ever seen a location posted to visit the temple? Because from my inner, the shit is just virtual, right? Meanwhile.
Now, I did hear in one of those little stuff that he was doing that he wanted to get some book, and he made the comment, "Oh, it's on the podium upstairs." Because sometimes we run temple from the house. So.
Right.
Maybe it's the building. Maybe there is no building.
Yeah.
That's why it's not going to put the quote unquote address out, because it's their house.
Right. You feel me? So, anybody can sit in the house like a house Negro, because there's no production that goes into his videos. King shit. And I'm like, come on, bro. If you're going through RVBey publications and that's all you came up with, you definitely a jackass. And like I said, man, I don't know. I think it's jealousy more so, because as they're slandering RVBey publications and whatnot, like the real reason is jealousy, because they're aspiring to do the same thing. If you really listen, like I've studied the psychology of this dude. Like, He wants to be Taj. No, real talk. Like, he wants to be Taj, bro. He wish he was Noble Drew Ali, bro. Like, look at the video. Just the video you rebutted. Like, these are wannabes.
Oh yeah,
you know
with the Drew Ali, with the merge with him and the Drew Ali in the pose. Yeah, that one was crazy. Yeah.
Classic false. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's a
reincarnated.
Ever. So this is what I'm saying. Like, this is what these clowns do. I don't see them at any events like that. I don't know what else to say, bro, because it's like even when you really get at these people, they try to flag your vids. Like, even when you really got at them, like and you just showed this the other day. What do? The first thing they do is run to YouTube and make complaints about, you know, their material. So I mean, it's
police. Like same shit. Running to the police, yo.
Yeah. So this is what the situation is. You feel me? And it's like, it's just crazy, bro. If it was somebody I seen on the regular, it would be a different situation. But these are people in hiding. You feel me? Like, and I ain't knocking nobody for laying low and all of this. But like, if you're gonna try to make a public challenge, you know what I'm saying? Then put your info on. You know, put your info on. So outside of that, bro, what can I, you know, besides teaching and giving the proper information, what more can I do? You know what I'm saying? I know we have a lot of rebuttals, but the most thing we could do is just keep putting the truth out there. So, yeah, that's what it is. I don't know, man, but I know. Oh man, I don't even want to. I don't know, man. But it's funny. I seen some dirty Moors before, and it was like right after that they started slandering, and I'm like, man, I wish I would have saw you after the slander. You know what I mean? So we could have addressed it right on the spot, because we just seen you 2-3 weeks ago, and this wasn't your position. Now, you know. But like I said, Cujo, man, it's like, no matter what happens, I've seen a lot of different circumstances play out. Like, Moors have discrepancies, you know what I mean, and they handle that on the spot. Somebody get their head rocked, and then after they get their head rocked on the fair one, it's like, oh, they jumped me, and all of this stuff. So it's like these are dirty Moors. I've seen Moors. I don't even want to say Moors, like Negroes that added L and Bay on their appellation, called policy enforcers on sisters. Did you hear what I just said? Like, I've seen that happen. I was disgusted. Like, that was the first time I ever thought of, like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you need the sword of the Lord right now. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, bro, I've seen it. I know how these dirty Moors play. So it's not like it's a fair shake. You feel me? But, yeah, it's no excuse. We're going to keep putting the truth out, you know, and that's what it is. So that's what I stand on, bro. That we just had a couple more callers light up the line. But trust me, it's not easy, bro. It's not. But I just understand where we at. It's agent work at its 2D level. You know, these people don't put boots on the ground. I mean, you know, what, a temple meeting and something else, but outside of that, these people don't come amongst the public. Like, they're not coming amongst the public like that. Like, you don't see the boots on the ground work. They got it, put it up. You know what I mean? But outside of that, I don't see them. I'm not scared of none of that, you know, talking. Shout out to everybody. I'll be more 300, everybody. But come on, fam. I like boots on the ground out Baltimore. So I'm not scared of that. And I know it's not official like that. It's not official like that. So you know, it is what it is. As long as you feel comfortable at home, it is what it is, man. But yeah, we have a couple more callers, man. Let's see what the people talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Let me see. Some technical difficulties. Well, that's interesting. Hold up. Caller 719-323. You're live on the air. You with us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed.
This is Brother Bokari Bey coming to you from Northwest of Mexico.
Peace, Nobles.
Hey. Great show.
Thanks, Noble.
Really, I really enjoyed many of the comments, all of the comments. Like great, solid points. And one of the things that I wanted to touch on was as a result of me being, and I think that there's some, veterans returning, and so what they call it is adjustment disorder. And
one's tripping out.
Yeah, you just broke up. You just broke up. What kind of disorder would you say?
It's called PTSD and adjustment.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. So truth to that. And you don't have to have PTSD to have adjustment. Into all of the details, it is common. It is commonly known throughout the military that killing people and going to war is a natural activity. All right, that's not. War has been a part of this world for. Say again.
I said you were breaking up.
You know what? As soon as I call in, my phone want to act up.
Oh gosh. Are you on speaker right now?
No. I'm on I'm right into this joker.
It's like
keep talking.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead, Moor.
Yeah, need treatment because killing people and war. Okay, so everybody needs.
Yeah,
learn
brother,
how to deal.
Like you're breaking up kind of bad.
Okay. All right. Well, look, great show.
Man, indeed, bro.
What's going on? We'll see what's going on with the caller.
Yeah. I really want to hear your wisdom on this because I know you got first-hand experience.
Exactly.
But we don't want to miss your message either.
Yeah. No worries.
Yeah.
No worries.
Indeed, Noble. All right, so we're gonna see. I don't know if it's your position. Like you might need to move up to I don't know if you're in the right place in the room or you might need to go upstairs or whatnot. But before we end, we definitely gonna come back around to you.
Islam.
All right. So with that being said, let's see, caller 202, you're live on the air. Are you with us, man?
Islam Moors, peace, Moor, the Supreme L up in District of Columbia Territory, Anacostia.
Islam Moor.
Supreme.
How my good brothers doing? Hey, great show, great show. Am I breaking up too?
No, yours is all right.
I just want to give y'all brothers love and keep doing what y'all do. I know it's a lot of charities out there, and we're working on that. That's all we can do is work on it. And like I said, just want to give y'all brothers love. And while y'all both here, I want to get together on Sunday, but we'll talk about that much later. But keep it up, Morris. I'm here. Just keep it up, Morris. Keep doing what y'all do. With that, I yield.
Thank you, bro. Pardon the interjection, Brother Supreme. Thank you for chiming
one and only.
Yeah. We definitely gonna come through and blaze your platform soon too.
Yeah,
so thank you for staying.
We gotta do that. Yeah, we gotta do that.
Yeah, we gotta do that. We have to do that. That's a must. So for certain.
Islam. The platform is for the people. It's y'all platform, Morris. I'm just the show is y'all. I'm just sticking with you, Morris. You know what I'm saying? The prophet says, and Todd say, hey, get with some Morris that's doing good and help them do more good. So I'm here with you, Morris.
Facts, bro. Facts. Highly appreciate that.
Islam. With that, I yield. Peace, Morris.
Peace, Moor. One. Cool. All right, caller 719-323. You're live on the air. Are you with us, fam?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, indeed. Brother Bakar. In fact. Yeah, my fault. I it doesn't matter. But, yeah. We can hear you right now if you want to. If we had some more callers, but we can hear you right now if you want to give it another shot at what you was trying to say.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't you just go through? I don't know how much audio I'm going to have. Just hit up the other brothers and sisters, mothers, etc., and then get
a
shot. Just in case. I don't want to waste time and everything.
Got you. All right. Thank you for yielding under the circumstances. Still appreciate your message. And we're going to go to the next caller. Caller 320-309. You're live in the air, fam.
Islam family. This is Young Igmu to RVBey, Northwestern Mexican and Minnesota Territory. And what I wanted to comment on, peace, brother Ms. Rank, and peace and love to Grand Sheik Slander a little bit earlier. And what I have to say about that is that I want to preface this by saying that before I came in to the knowledge of nationality and birthrights, I was pretty much aware on a lot of information except for nationality and birthrights. And what I mean by that is that there were a lot of things I read up on. I knew about that this was no longer a republic, it was de facto, and things of that nature. But what I was lacking was how I fit in to that and how I could utilize that information. And so when I heard Moors like Elder Taj and speak about things like that, it resonated with me quickly because I was already aware of that. I just didn't know how I fit it and how I could utilize that information with the situation that I was in before as a person who wasn't sure of his nationality. And so with everything that Brother Ty says, the prophet, about getting into the fold of government, learning the Constitution, forcing the Constitution. It says Mother Annie L. and Mother RVBey talking about taxes. I had read the tax code before becoming a conscious Moor. So when I hear their information. I'm like, wow, yeah. I was right on board with it. And people, a lot of dirty Moors talking about that CCY was a fraud. But let me tell you something to these dirty Moors that's slandering these active, faithful Moors that have done so much for our nation. If they're such a fraud, how is it that I have utilized a lot of this information with a favorable response? And none of you, talking about the dirty Moors, have offered anything that would refute the information brought forth by these faithful and active Moors. If CCY is such a fraud, how is it that I use a lot of the things that he has on record with Library of Congress? How is it that I'm using that? How is it that other Moors are using that? How is it that I have learned how to enforce Constitution taught by RVBey and Ida L., what the Prophet told us to do? But what do you have to offer outside of causing confusion with yellow journalism and slander, using the modern European as a reference point in order for you to slander Moors? What do you have to offer? When I go to certain checkpoints on the border with Morocco and Mexico, people are showing their licenses. They're given all kinds of identification. Their conveyance is being checked. Their trucks are being checked. I pull up. Are you a U.S. citizen? No, I'm not. I'm a Moorish American national, Northwestern Mexican. I domicile in Minnesota territory. Pass through. So if all of these active Moors are given bad information, how come I can utilize them day in, day out with no problem whatsoever? And they have nothing to offer except confusion and derision and just opposing for the sake of opposing with no productive and positive input of any kind. And so because I read, because I study RVBey and other books, it is easy for me to see who is who and what is what. The only way I could ever be taken advantage of for dirty Moors is if I want to learn by being told. If I didn't take the initiative to study and research and find out the answers to the questions that I have by study. But if I want to just watch a video and listen to a bunch of people talk, I'm headed for trouble. I'm headed for trouble. Mm-hmm. But because I've studied, because I read, the moment you open your mouth, I know that you're dirty, or I know that you're active. And so I just wanted to make that comment. And I know there are other family members on the line, and I want them to get their calls to say that. Peace and love to everybody. And Kenyan Bay, I'm going to yield the floor. Islam.
Islam. Peace, noble Indian. We appreciate you on the chime in. Facts, man. I mean, that's all they offering is confusion. But Cujo, we have one more caller. I want to take the caller, but talk to me. Because they again, going back to that whole thing about the brother who got murdered the other day. And we know that, like Gavin Long, like Mika Johnson, he had military background. But more, I hate to say it like this, but I'm not tripping, right? It was a situation where Moors was in a shootout around the time the Prophet was alive. Am I right or wrong about that?
Yeah, oh yeah, most definitely.
Okay. So this ain't like the scenarios is like not new. Like, even though I'm sure there were other motives behind that, but there's been shootings connected to the Moorish movement. I mean, in the 20th century. Like, so I don't know. I don't want to attach that negative image, but it's not like the first time of hearing about a shooting in a Moor.
No.
Right, and the story gets a little real with that. Well, I guess we'll save that for another time. We have another caller, one more caller, and we appreciate you all thankfully. Hold on, pardon me. And sincerely, call us 678-712. You're live on the air. Are you with us, fam?
Yeah, this is Jamil Islam, northwest of Maxim, Georgia territory.
Peace, Noble.
Yeah, I just want to comment on the guy that was in the military. I haven't been watching the news, so you all, this is the first time I've heard about it. And when you go to war, when you come back, let's say if you're getting out, you do your ETSing out. You go through a physical. I would say it doesn't last over about an hour, unless you show some signs, maybe like you want to convert your religion or something from experience. You might get interrogated for an hour or two, it's a process where you go through an hour. They talk to you, check out your health, and pretty much that's it. It's nothing really there to support you in the trauma that you've been through. PTSD, you don't have to be in direct combat, just what you see. The smells is something that you'll remember, because it's one smell that you never forget. And pretty much you're put back on the street. You got a big time zone change, sleep deprivation, PTSD, noises that remind you of things. And, when you go to this clinic that they have called the VA that's supposed to be there to help you, you can come in with paperwork. Your paperwork will show every place in the world you've been. And when you hand them that paperwork, they'll look at it. Let's say the Middle East, they call it Southeast Asia, and they'll actually say, you have to prove to us that you was in the war, and it's right there on your paperwork. So, it's basically a fight, and I honestly believe that it's biased as far as minorities and Europeans. I believe it's much harder for us to be compensated and get the treatment we need. But it's definitely a system that has a problem. And this isn't the first time. They let people just go back out into society. They don't get the proper treatment. Something happens. They find everything else they can to blame it on. So, I feel sorry for the guy, his family, but, they should take some responsibility, which I doubt they'll do. So, that's just what I want to comment on from firsthand experience. I yield the floor.
Right, peace, Noble. Yeah, appreciate the call. With that being said, I also want to give an acknowledgement to the brother Jonathan Bey. He had a article in the newspaper, the New York Times, about the problems that veterans face getting disability. I didn't know the brother was fighting something since a very long time ago. I think he said under Kennedy's administration. I might be wrong, but the way that they're doing those who served them is just dirty, bro. Like, You know, because that's not. I mean, they signed up for certain protections, and that always bugged me out. You know, I'm not one to advocate like go to the military or anything like that. But I just never understood like how are you a veteran in homeless right now? I never understood that. You know, and then now as you know we unfold in life, it's like, oh, they don't care about y'all either. I get it now. You know what I mean? You would figure they would be looked out and looked after by, you know, those who had them in the line of service or whatnot, but nah, it's not the case. So that's why I'm saying, even when the dirty clown was trying to say more should raise their children to become the modern, basically military by being on the police force, I'm like, what, bro? Like, y'all are bugging. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Like, I can't say I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, like, if that's what you want our youth to aspire to be, then definitely there has to be some lessons that was missed along the line somewhere, bro, because, you know, we way better than that. You know, we definitely better than that. So, yeah, man, that's my take on it. Let's see if the brother Bakari has better reception at this particular point, because I know this is like his subject. This is what he lived this. So my brother Bakari, are you good, bro?
No, this Supreme. I'm still waiting. You got to go back to him, Moor.
My goodness. Peace, Noble. All right. No
Peace.
doubt. All right. My fault. Peace and love, brother Bakari.
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Cool. We
All
just
right.
wanted to make a better shot to speak your piece before we close out.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the brother that called in said some. Certainly, he was right on point. In many cases, I can tell you that there are many Europeans who deal with a lot of the same problems that so-called minorities deal with or Asiatics deal with. I am a combat veteran, okay? And I can speak on this all day long, and I have been homeless. I have been homeless on numerous occasions. I have and still fight VA to this day. I have been exposed to chemical and biological agents. I have aided in the death of foreign nationals. I have been under fire for artillery, small arms. I've been exposed to large concussions, a large concussion force, via the explosion of enemy munitions, and I have dealt with VA personnel for an extended period of time. I have tons of documentation to substantiate everything that I put in a claim for. And on numerous occasions, I have had to explain or had to deal with situations that just doesn't make any sense. They tell you that you need to have documentation, and then when you submit the documentation, then they flip something else on you. And I've literally had that done. Like that brother who called in earlier, one of the things that he mentioned is there's actually a form other than your DD-214, which is a document that shows everywhere that you've been in the military, including combat. But there's another form that also is given to you by your unit when you're in combat to substantiate your time in combat, in the war zone, etc. And I have that, and I submitted that. And they still ask me questions to, like they still treated me like, like I'm trying to pull something on them. And so it's a lot more, and this takes more than, me expressing it, for a few minutes. But there are a lot of things that veterans need, and it's not just veterans. There are a lot of things that we all need, whether you're a military veteran, whether you're a quote unquote civilian, and in order to live life appropriately. And one of the biggest things that we require is rights, liberties, and we need things that secure those and protect those liberties and those rights. That's why we have paperwork, information that's put on, substantiate that. That's why we have laws. And so for some individuals to, speak negatively on paperwork, that's outside of law, and that's outside of the civil process. That's outside of government, because most paperwork is just simply a brief on your position as an individual, whether you're a national or whether you're a foreigner or whatever you are. And, so there are just many, many things to the brother's point, to one of the brother's points, when you study and you actually read and you can comprehend what you're reading, it is quite easy to listen to somebody, whether it's in person or whether it's part of a radio show, and you can know whether they're blowing smoke or whether they're telling lies. But if you don't read, and if you're incapable of reading, and if you've been indoctrinated your entire life, it is next to impossible to be able to do that. And so this is why the Moorish Science Temple in its true state and its true form was so important, because it was there to do more than just come and sing and clap your hands and talk about wonderful things. It was part of its function was to help break the bonds of that mental slavery by exposing you to information, by exposing you to not just information, but knowledge, factual documents, factual historical facts about things that pertain to you and your nationality and your bloodline, so that it can wake you up and bring you back into the constitutional fold of government so that you can protect yourself and come together collectively, because we can't do this by one individual in every given state or geographical location. Nationality is about unity. Like, you can't be a nation without unity. People have to get up and people have to collectively come together. Part of that process is getting to know people so that you can see where they're at mentally. So there's no getting around it. There's no way that we can get around being able to effectuate what we need to effectuate unless we come together. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone needs to come from all over Northwest Amexem and come to one geographical location. That's not practical. But we need to get beyond this a mental state that we're in, to where we can start trusting one another. But you can only do that after a period of time, and that may take a generation or two, but we have to work towards that goal. And so if I don't even know what happened with this service member. I don't know the story, but I just like to talk about these things. And I would like at some point in time in the future to answer more questions, because I have a lot of information to share. I have a lot of experience in many of these issues. But at the end of the day, look, we can do all the talking that we want to do, and we can, say things. But if nothing is happening on the ground, like you mentioned, brother, if we're not making changes physically, if we're not coming together, meeting and shaking hands, or supporting. And if you can't come together, then, send some fiat, to, somebody's temple, or, help somebody buy some shoes or buy some food or, do something, buy a can of paint, paint somebody's steps, do something. If we don't do those things, like we can't just talk, because there's already a lot of Moors out there who have been talking and who are qualified to, speak and continue to share information. But we need 2018. We need people to be active. And you don't necessarily have to send a writ out, but there's a lot of things that you can do. And I've said this time and time again, and it's very frustrating for me because I have met physically. I have met quite a few Moors, and it doesn't last long. Nothing really comes of it. Like we have a couple of conversations, and then that's it, and we don't. And we don't talk anymore. But that's all right, because now I can identify that individual needs more time, or he or she is not ready. But we have to start doing things for ourselves and, start establishing little communities. And it doesn't mean that we all have to move in together and, live together in the same geographical location, but people need support. There's strength in numbers, and that cannot be denied. And so we have to start small, and then we have to start doing practical things that make sense for nationals. If you're not doing certain things that makes practical sense, it doesn't matter how much talk we have. It doesn't matter how many Taj Tariq Beys there are in the world. It doesn't matter if there's 1,000 Anaids and 1,000 Ras Ramais and 1,000 Cujos and 1,000 Misraims. It doesn't matter. It just does not matter, because there are billions of people, billions of Asiatics on this planet. So, like in combat, like in the military, it doesn't matter how good your plan is. If you don't work your plan, you're going to be defeated. That's the bottom line. And I yield the floor. Islam.
Peace, Noble. We appreciate you again for adding on your wisdom. And we highly appreciate that, as always, Brother Bakari. Excuse me. With that being said, you are, in fact, our last caller for the night. So we highly appreciate that. We appreciate everybody who tuned in and listened, and everybody who will be tuning in and listening throughout the week and in future times. Big acknowledgement to the brother Najib L, for always keeping the airwaves open as well. My mother, Anna E. Cujo, big acknowledgement to you. MHHS, Eyes Wide Open, collectively, and everybody, So I just want to say I thank you all. This is definitely a time of newness. It's a new moon, etc. So I trust that your great works and intentions and everything manifests, with this new moon, etc. And that, we're talking crescent moons and these being the signs of the affairs of men and things like that. We have to be on our astronomy as well, astrology, cosmology, and that's what it is. So take advantage of the new moon energy to manifest new things. And I yield the floor. I just got to say, Cujo, big thanks to you for always keeping me posted on certain things. I wasn't able to catch up with everything this week like I wanted to, but it's all good. We'll get right. We'll definitely get right. If I'm not mistaken, this Sunday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, there will be the Sisters Standing on Law broadcast. it'll definitely be the Sister Standing on Law at 1 o'clock p.m. So make sure you tune into that. Outside of that, Moors, you know, have a great night, study well, enjoy yourselves and your family, etc., those in your environment. And Cool Joe, I'm going to yield over to you for you to add on any closing statements, bro.
Yeah, Moor, well, you know, just Islam to the Moors that called in, Islam to the Moors that's listening, and the Moors who will eventually listen to this. You know, again, we keep it close to home. So, MHHS, eyes wide open, you can't go wrong. But honest to all the active Moors who are standing up for their right. Honest to the active Moors who are sacrificing and who are studying what Noble Drew Ali left and aren't afraid to exercise what was brought to them.
Right.
To all the mothers, but of course, the mothers of MHHS, eyes wide open, and super honors to Sons of Allah and my co-host, Mizraim L. Give thanks for all that you're doing. You know what I mean? And you know we shall continue doing what we do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yo, bro, big acknowledgement to you too. Like, you need a defender of the century award or something, bro. You be going in. I always appreciate that. You know, for the people, for the sake of the truth and what it is. So yeah, bro, I definitely meant to acknowledge that. Like, you put in a lot of work, bro, and it's not overlooked. But yeah, bro, like, that's one thing, man. You definitely have defense, bro, and that's a beautiful thing. So and it's crazy because it's just the truth, you know. The truth is the sword, like, you know, the sword of justice, sword of truth, the word. That's a very important factor. So, you know, big acknowledgement to you for not waving over a long period of time, bro. That speaks a lot, because there's a lot of people, like you said, from being around back then to now who just waved, bro. Like, and you know, you didn't do that. So salute to you on that note. And yeah. So big acknowledgement to all Moors. We thank y'all for tuning in to MHHS Sons of Allah tonight. Again, Sister Standing on Law this Sunday at 1 o'clock p.m. And, of course, every Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do the MHHS Eyes Wide Open Tuesday, open lines. So we trust to see you all or hear from you all then. And we highly thank y'all for tuning in tonight. And for certain. And big acknowledgement again to the brother Supreme as well for tuning in. Appreciate that. And we're going to close out and enjoy the rest of this night. And thank y'all. You know? All right, peace.
Peace. There's a lot more.
Yeah. Hand, Operation Rapper Inquisition. We still here. Operation Rapper Inquisition. Fam. All the gods and goddesses. Iron Sheep. Hip Hop lives, yo. The deaf won't hear and the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. Ineps indirectly, Boo Ali, one of the names of the prophets internationally. Drew said Moors, proclaim your nationality, cause you're not Ethiopian or NBC. So he founded America's MST in 28. Me saying that they will cause debates are needed to clear up the mess, but most debate so they can big up their chest to prove what they know and what they can do. Recreating the wheel that was created by Drew. When you know the truth, many debate, but few humble themselves and suppress the jungle itself. Do them, I just do me. Keep in my gold while they trade in their jewelry. Taj Tariq and NHHS schooled me. You fool me? In your dreams, dirty Moors think they could mule me truly. Who's the real Jew? Me and we. A scene more, their religion is my mental degree, and where everybody's supposed to be. If not, I guess that's not where you're supposed to be. Hopefully, Drew Ali will be seen openly and realize NBC is something you can be. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. It seems unconscious Moors love the semblance of identity and having no remembrance of their Moorish past, no resemblance of the ancestral land inheritance. Love being the children, not the parents. To do any activity asking for clearance. Their minds like crystal, nothing but clearance. Everyone can progress in their land, the heirs can't. It's your status, stop blaming racists who bleed just like you if you shank their faces. You Moors flew here in pyramid spaceships, and they use that as an emblem on their aprons, and can't be free if not Moorish Masons. Black or more Europeans are not Caucasians, coming to the new world to civilize pagans. With boats and harbors from mosque on hills, we sending in agents. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali.
We transcend and ascend in this. It's a journey, just like the Moors traveling. Worlds upon worlds to span within. It gotta touch her as we exhale. Past all distorted truths and the lies they tell to keep y'all from drinking at the well. Divine love, that's the fountain of youth. Son, peep it, this is the alchemist's secret. Restoring true unity, resurrecting a community. So every day I wake to fight. Though it's hard, it's rest God. In every demonstration I'm penetrating to the depths of the mind. A noble chief, well kept and refined. Your feeling is bright like the star Sirius. This musician is the son of man. I look within, Drew Ali on the canvas of my soul to replenish the whole. Replacing the old is critical, reaching to the pinnacle. Native and original MC that's relevant, and the style is intelligent, but I keep it interesting. Dropping true math in the cipher if you enter in. The law is the center, so study yourself and be renewed. That's elevation, restoration through contemplation and meditation. Now the soul's navigating, manifesting art creation. The room of this mic, utilizing the light on the path. My body is an astro lab. I take the right actions, and my compass is compassion for internal alchemy.
The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see. They hear the message in the words of Drew Ali.
Dig this. Are you ready? You gonna feel this, ladies and gentlemen?
Let the bass.
Come on. You raps kill me, I puff the black lily. What up with the dilly? We bust the Mac Billy. Let it do it, come on. 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 Yeah, quality, SP, told you, feel me. What? Prince on the flow, so you know it's filthy. Let it do it, come on. 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 City stand,
yeah, come kick it without beat. Just guns in the holster when I'm building with quality. What? It's the miseducated Negro dig rolls. Someone thinking of the beans whenever the pigs roll. Ask why I could've talked to a law through the bars and say negative. Is my sedative being hard? Nah, I'm just dealing with 180 and 180. Book crazy and gun crazy, the sun rays me. But it's the moon passing by that'll make you in the man you are. I drop signs, don't stand too far. Do the math, I'm socially, vocally an English star. Do the math again, shame is I'm African. This ain't my language, only thing I'm knowing is anguish. Feel me.
Young, Brooklyn, party people where you at? Put the light up in the sky right now, let's go. These rap dudes remind me of Geico. So easy that a caveman could do it. It's like screwing a light bulb. My music is influenced by X-Clan. Let the best man win, cause I'm fighting for New York like Def Jam. A righty still nice with the left hand. My fist of fury, their eyes popping out like Mr. Furley. Take a journey in a lyrical Rolls Royce. I'm raw like old boy, in between war and peace like Tolstoy. Abort these lanes and pro-choice. Dope voice, no it ain't a game, I'm no choice. I'm not playing, bubble on the bottom like Air Max. It's Brooklyn if they lookin', give them something to stare at. Yeah, that dude hit the dirt, I'm murked out. I'm the tightest with the monkey bars like a rough rider's worked out. My flash ball niggas is burnt out. These chicks is turned out, my hits is turned out. Feel me? When it comes to this shit right here, we the kings of this shit right here. South Peak.
Talib SP told you feel me. Secret society, you probably kill me. Fuck the government, nigga, I plead guilty. Fuck the industry, cause y'all too filthy. Corporate devils with house niggas working with them. Claiming hip hop, but they ain't got a purpose with them. Hell no, I seen the whack rapper surface with them. But I'ma load up and go ahead and murk them with them.
Niggas had a chance to talk, now it's eternal. Let's get with style, split open the Dutch like a circumcision. Yeah, they know me for the classic flow. I'm in the books depository with the ghost behind the grass is low. We looking for a headshot, we the sharpshooters. Niggas used to run, now they singing like Carl Lewis, fucking up the anthem. Try to kidnap my flow for a handsome sum, you be the one paying the ransom.